On today's episode of the Bolt Crew podcast, the Chargers fail to bounce back with a win. The Chargers have more questions than answers. And who's to blame for another disappointing performance? We talk about it all on this episode of the Bolt Crew podcast.
Hey, yeah, hey, it's the Bolt Crew, and we always winning. Hey, go against us, I don't recommend it. Hey, it's the Bolt Crew, best up in the business. It's the Bolt Crew, repping for the city. Macking on and off the field like Khalil. They hate on us cause we keep it too real. I'm talking smack like Phil Rivers in the field. Oh, you mad again cause we kept it real? Why you mad? Hey, I'm talking smack, I feel like Uncle Dave. Hey, I bring the pain, I feel like Derwin James. I could run and gun, I feel like Harbaugh down the lane. I feel like LT the way I'm stiff arming these lanes. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah. Ay, we just wanna win, we just wanna win, ay. Putting on for the city, putting on for the city. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah.
Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Obviously, we're coming on right after the game ended. 30 seconds ago, Chargers lose 27-10 to the Washington Commanders. Disappointing loss in so many different aspects of how this happened, why this happened. I'm Dave Palais. That's Josh Palais to the side of me in the square. And there's Mario Heron at the bottom of the screen with a brand new background. It's probably the highlight of my day. Mario is your background, because right now, as we do this show, and it's always dangerous when we do these shows after a loss, even after a win, maybe we get a little too excited. After a loss, we're definitely frustration levels are all-time high. And so for this Charger team to give up 27 unanswered points and lose to the Commanders at home, completely embarrassing, and makes you scratch your head on what is the team we're watching and how can you judge what they're going to be in the future?
Nobody knows the answer, right? You watch the Chargers the first three weeks of the year. You say, this is a playoff team. This is a team that can make a run for the Super Bowl. At least that's what we thought on this show. And then you watch them against the Giants and the Commanders. And then you ask, is this a team that's going to get a top 10 pick in the draft? Because this is one of the worst football teams in the NFL right now. I think it's a poorly coached team, Mario. I think the talent on the field is not good at all. And I think the execution by some of the players you rely on is lagging as well. I think everything could be improved on this team right now.
I never thought I'd say this with a Harbaugh football team, and especially when he took over as head coach, but they're undisciplined, and they're messy, and they're sloppy with the football, and they're sloppy with their game plan. And it was showed today from Quinn Johnson's early on fumble that took away a very large portion of our momentum in this game, to roughing the kicker, the punter, I should say, on Ladd McConkey's return for a touchdown that, again, would have swung momentum in this game, to just the penalties that killed us, and Pipkin's back-to-back penalties that erased two amazing plays by Herbert to keep us alive, to keep the drive alive. It's just a complete embarrassment, and this is the Chargers of the old, not the Chargers of the new. Just awful, awful game. And I thought last week was Harbaugh's worst game, Dave. He said, hold my beer. Let me show you something else. So this was another just disaster by them.
You know, they always say, and coaches do it all the time in the press conferences, when something goes wrong, well, that falls on the head coach. And a lot of times you're like, dude, you don't believe that. Look, man, does it fall on the head coach? Does it fall on Joe Ortiz? I mean, you could point your finger in a million different directions right now. I could point my finger at Joe Ortiz and say, this roster, if you plan on winning games, it's done by smoke and mirrors. You can look at talent for talent, and we don't have the talent right now to protect our quarterback. Even they said during the game, it's not sustainable, the amount of hits that Justin Herbert's taken. Justin Herbert is not Josh Allen, right? We say that about Josh Allen all the time. How is it sustainable that your quarterback takes so many hits? He takes a lot of hits. That's not his plan of attack. And Tom Brady's sitting there holding his breath every time because he had a lower leg injury that basically cost him a season. Chargers can't afford to lose a Justin Herbert. It's all we got. And at the same time, you sit and you look at that offensive line, which is in shambles, and it goes down to, what could have been as far as spending money and getting guys in free agency. And if you make a trade, still you make a trade and you give up a draft pick, it's still just one guy. This team is in need of more than one guy. And I was thinking about the draft, Josh, during the game, and I was thinking about what this team has done in the last few years to get better. And they keep trying to do things on the offensive side of the ball. At some point, you got to do something on the defensive side of the ball, too, to help those guys. And today it seemed like it came back to get us. The pass rush for the Chargers isn't the same as it is for other teams. And we've seen that before. We saw it with the Giants. Look, the Commanders, talented team, they're in the NFC Championship game. The Commanders haven't come close to playing their best ball. Matter of fact, they're without two of their top three wide receivers today. and they owned us. Our secondary looked terrible. They took Derwin James completely out of the game, a non-factor. Derwin James really was a non-factor, but other guys then have to step up and be factors. The game plan for Dan Quinn to go about and his staff to go about what they did to beat the Chargers today was outstanding. And Mario, I'm always the bad guy when it comes to QJ. But man, it was said a million times during the game. It wasn't one of those where I'm looking for QJ to go after him. 100%. This momentum changed when QJ fumbled the ball. That was it. They're about to go up minimum. They're about to go up by 13-0 or 17-0. And then QJ, again, as I've said on this show, when you guys yell at me nonstop, he does not like contact. You guys understand that? I'm not talking to you two. I'm talking to everyone on the side, and everyone's to write to me privately on social media. He does not like contact. I've told you guys this. It's not me sitting there targeting QJ. He is what he is. And I said during the week, I will take QJ for what he is, meaning a guy that can get open on a deep pass or a seam route and run the rest of the way. He doesn't want to be hit, and he definitely doesn't want to fight for a ball, and he couldn't even sit there, and everybody knows you wrap up. Do anything you can not to turn the ball over. And it cost this team. Momentum, it was all out the window. 27 unanswered points at any level of football is unacceptable.
So the Chargers end up with 10 points. And like Dave said, Chargers are going to either get 13 because we have the best kicker ever in Cameron Dicker. Holy hell, this guy's the only good thing about this team right now. Him and Omari and Hampton, who's hurt. Or 17, right? Because Chargers were for sure going to score. Tons of momentum were going the Chargers' way. Nothing was working for the Commanders. That fumble, I can't snap. There we go. That fumble ruined everything. I mean, that fumble was just like the nail in the coffin, which it shouldn't be. Like QJ deserves a ton of blame because that killed the momentum. But the fact that the Chargers cannot come back from that and score one more time the rest of the game is insane, right? The roughing the punter penalty, what is your thoughts on that? I think it's actually ridiculous that they call that penalty because what is the player supposed to do? He's trying to block the ball. His momentum is going to take him into the punter. That shouldn't be a penalty in football. Do you guys agree with me on this? Like, why is that a penalty?
Okay, because look, believe it or not, I was alive, Mario, when this actually became a rule. Because guys used to knock the crap out of the punter. And just like I always say, if you're in a big game, what you do is you take out a kicker and you completely change the game. It's because the guy can't protect himself with his leg up in the air. Usually you see punters who will fake it. Like there's a part where JK got hit, and I thought he could have fallen to the ground and maybe milked one there, but he didn't. And then right after that, the Commanders had a situation. I thought it was a good call. I mean, basically what was he doing? It was his landing leg and his ankles being taken out. I thought it was the right call.
It was the right call because the rule is you can't hit the punter, but for God's sakes, like the intent behind it is he's going for the ball. Like obviously it's the Chargers' fault. They shouldn't have done that, but I was pissed about it at the time because like Mario said, that we needed those points. We still need those points right now. 27-10 against a team like the Commanders that was so depleted with injuries. That team's not that great. I mean, you're watching them today. There's nothing that the Commanders did where I said, wow, this is a very talented football team. I thought they were much more coached up going into the game than the Chargers were. 2 weeks in a row, Mario, I watched this Chargers team and I say, they don't look like they're being coached up during the week. Like bad penalties, bad game plans, and terrible execution.
And we say this all the time when a team has a lot of penalties, when a team makes a lot of these mental mistakes. What does that lead back to? It leads back to what are you doing during the week? What are you allowing to happen during practice? You know, here at my work, all I heard all the time was how Ben Johnson, if they messed up something, he goes, "You're doing it again. You're doing it again." Is that happening right now in Los Angeles? All these guys getting held to a higher standard. So it doesn't look like that on Sundays. It doesn't look like that at all. And with the punter thing, it is very frustrating because it's like, I do understand you got to protect these guys and you can really just screw over a team that the punter's not there. At the same time, if the guy's not getting his head taken off, his knee's not snapped in half, then like, come on now. It's a physical game. Like make the game physical again. But the Commanders, look, there was a chance with that fumble that Tark got. Shout out to one of the other guys that had a good game. And the Chargers marched down. And then what do? They pull a guard, which Tom Brady made a very good point. He goes, I hate pulling guards on the one. You leave a guy open. And it happened on that play. Next, you know, we get to a spot where you can't really run it because Hampton's out. And then we can't really pass the ball because it's just not very successful. We go to pass the tip pass, interception. The Commanders took advantage of our mistakes, Dave, and we did not take advantage of theirs. And that's the story at the end of the day. And that's how we scored 10 points in the first and didn't score for the rest of the game.
Yeah, good teams don't have a bunch of penalties, dumb penalties that sit there and cost you. All the penalties we had obviously cost us tremendously. Again, I don't know how big of a difference it makes when you sit there and you give up 27 unanswered points. There's so many things that were wrong with this game. Extremely frustrating. I don't get a chance to hear a lot of Tom Brady games. I will tell you this: he said stuff today that he pointed out that I thought was very good. I thought he did a pretty good job. When he talked about why you don't run that play in that situation, as you said, Mario, it made all the sense in the world. And how many times have you seen the Patriots score in that situation? Or Tom Brady has been the one that scored in that situation where you knew exactly what they were going to do. The advantage you have is the snap count, the defense doesn't. And you have a little bit of a step to get a head start. But when you're going to sit there and say, I don't like to go backwards or I don't want to go sideways, it made all the sense in the world when he explained it on television. There's so many things that went wrong. I mean, God dang, another tip pass by Justin Herbert. We spoke about this before, how all of a sudden it was down. Next thing you know, he's now throwing 4 interceptions this year, one more than he threw all of last year. A lot of things to scratch your head on. Look, Hampton ended up leaving the game with an ankle injury. People want to know where Hampton was. He had an ankle injury, wasn't able to really contribute in the second half. Dude, there were 2 plays in that game where Hampton took unnecessary hits where the whistle was blown. And I'm like, how many times is our running back going to get smoked and the plays don't count? So when you talk about, how are these guys being coached up during the week? Dude, I don't know. I mean, I put that all on the coaches, and you expect more from a Jim Harbaugh staff because there's supposed to be a standard on what happens during the week to what you're going to do on Sunday or Monday night or whatever the hell the game is. And you expect these guys to take care of business. We laugh at the Raiders all the time because the Raiders lead the NFL in penalties all the time, and they're a losing organization. Yet the Chargers, who are under Jim Harbaugh, a guy's supposed to be a winning coach, you expect your team to play clean football.
Yeah, so in Jim Harbaugh's first 21 games, the Chargers only had 1 game where they had 8 penalties or more. In the last 2 weeks, we've had 8 penalties or more. This Chargers team is badly coached at this point. The offensive line, I don't think Trey Pipkins deserves any hate on this show. The fact that he's in the game is what we should be mad about. Like he is who he is. Like we know who Trey Pipkins is. The fact that he's out there is what we should be mad about because he's not good. And we knew he wasn't good going into this year. We knew he wasn't good going into last year and the year before that. He's been on this team for way too long. He should never be in the game. Tyler Conklin should never be in the game as well. Holy hell. Like, what are you there for? And why are you still on the team? Any team that's actually serious would have cut his ass, would have cut Tyler Conklin. Trey Pipkins would never be on the field, and they'd have way less penalties. If we're going to lose to the Commanders and actually lose the game, then I can accept that as a fan. Like, they outplayed us and we lost. These Chargers losses are completely on the Chargers. We're killing ourselves in these games with players like QJ fumbling the ball. Keenan Allen's doing everything he can at his age. The fact that Keenan Allen's our best receiver right now at his age is a bad thing. Okay. And then Ladd McConkey, besides his touchdown, pretty much nowhere to be found. Like, what happened to the game plan for Ladd? Is this Greg Roman's fault? Is this Ladd's fault? Is this Justin Herbert's fault? I don't know whose fault it is, but Ladd McConkey needs to be way more involved in this game for the Chargers to be like a realistically good team, because right now the offense is a complete mess. And Amari Hampton, I agree with Dave, is taking way too many crazy hits.
I think it also goes, though, for Hampton just because he doesn't go down. Like, it takes at least 3 guys to hit him before he even touches grass. And you saw that happen so many times. Say there's a play, Herbert throws it to him on a check down, and he has a guy hit him right away. He breaks a tackle, gets a 5 more yards. But the downside to that is you have guys running in behind you and ahead of you that are just coming in to just take your head off because they know it's going to be the way to get you down is by 4 guys coming together and doing it, not just one guy. When it comes to Pipkins and the Conklin drop on 4th down, the most embarrassing thing about that is it's 4th and 2, and we had 10 guys on the field. He ran on the field because we didn't have enough guys. He was just like, oh, it's my time to shine. I'm going to run in there because, no one's telling the players who needs to be in on this formation or what type of personnel group that we need for this play. And the next thing you know, the guy does it. The ball hits him right in the face mask. I used to have a coach that used to say, you got to eat it before you catch it. You're supposed to do that in like 7th grade, not when you're a 7-year pro vet. It was embarrassing. And also, again, what are we doing on 4th down? Throwing it to our 2nd string tight end. This is 4th and Ladd. This is 4th and Keenan. Like, get the ball to the play. Hampton, get the ball to the playmakers. It should not be going to the guy that is barely on the roster and might not be on the roster in the next coming weeks, Dave.
No, it makes you feel like kind of what you said when you talk about the coaching, like how well they coach in different situations, right? I mean, didn't it feel like that play was rushed? They weren't prepared to snap the
Yes.
ball. They obviously weren't. Look, there's a sign that shows you aren't prepared. Whatever you're getting ready for during the game situation, you guys notice how many timeouts they're burning in the first half, first quarter of the last two games? I mean, usually you don't burn hardly any timeouts. Like teams don't burn their timeouts in the first half. The Chargers can't get enough timeouts. It's really wild. Like, what the hell's going on at practice? Here's the NFL schedule for you. This is how it works out for people who aren't aware. They'll show up Monday and guys get treatment. Some guys, they'll look at film, they'll go over stuff. You look at more film of the past game, usually of high school football than you do of NFL. Then on Tuesday, it's a day off for the entire league. And then on Wednesday, they put the game plan in and you start preparing for your next game. That's how it goes. And you're going, if every other team understands the schedule, I don't know what the Chargers are doing in that facility. I can't figure it out. Jim Harbaugh's not a first-year coach. They got to clean it up, man, from the top to the bottom right now, because it doesn't look like good football. Look, the roster is not one of the better rosters in this league. We thought we were going to win games because we had an elite quarterback and elite coaching staff, and we don't. And the players that they have on this roster, there are a lot of guys in this league that couldn't make rosters of other NFL teams. The fact that this team right now, when tonight's over, they're still going to be in first place, and they're only in first place because the games they won were inside their division. But you might have, between the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Chargers, they all have the same record, and that's not a good sign at all.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit more when the Broncos beat the Eagles, right, in Philadelphia. You're thinking,
biggest win of the year.
Biggest win of the year. You think the Chargers need to take care of business against the Commanders, who had Krosky Merritt running all over us, because he's a household name. Then you have Deebo Samuel, who was good 3 years ago, running all over us. 8 catches, 96 yards, and a touchdown. I mean, the fact that they don't have talent either on that team, just like the Chargers, and we made them look that good, is crazy. The defense needs to get a lot of blame as well. The DBs look awful on this team. I don't know what happened to our DBs. I thought that was a strength for this team after a couple games. It's obviously not. One hit on Jaden Daniels when he's injured. You think bringing more pressure on Jaden Daniels with the offensive line that's also depleted would be something that would happen. 1 sack, 1 quarterback hit. And one thing that pissed me off, I don't know if anybody remembers this. Do you remember when Jaden Daniels was lead blocking at one point in this game? There's a certain play along the right sideline where he's lead blocking. How do you not take him out?
Light him up.
Like, dude, if he's going to lead block, you take him out. And that's just, everybody knows you take out the quarterback if he's going to try to lead block. He's not Tim Tebow at Florida. This guy's hurt. Take him out. Obviously, the Chargers don't do that. And then the Commanders win this game. Besides Cameron Dicker, Derwin James, Omarion Hampton, I don't know how many guys on this team right now. Tierra Tart, I like him as well. How many guys on this team right now I'm actually happy with the way they're playing? There's so many guys on this team. You got to question, what's your role on this team? Why are you in there? And what do you bring to this team? Because there's so many players you say, I don't know what you do for this team that's positive.
Especially when you start that O-line position. And with the Jaden Daniels, there was one of the worst calls I've ever seen in football, and it really got glossed over when they called it on the Chargers they called it kicking when our guy kicked Jaden Daniels when he was stepped up in the pocket to try to run. The O-lineman was hugging him from the back. I think it was Tunsil that was literally it looked like he was just, they were at a country concert and they're singing the lovey-dovey song and the boyfriend just puts the arms around the neck. That's literally what it looked like. And they go, it's literally a Coldplay out there in Los Angeles. And then they're like, no, that's a kicking on the Chargers. And you're like, why do you think he was kicking? Because he was getting held from behind. You can't block from behind. That's rule 101 in reffing school, where the hell you have to go to. That sent me up a hill. But to your point, Josh and Dave, the list of guys that I would say showed up today is a very short one. And you mentioned the schedule does not get easier. Yes, you have Miami next week. Okay. But then you also have Colts, who look very, very good right now.
Yep.
And if you're the Chargers, you could be sitting like the Bills right now. With the Bills, if they win tonight, they could take a 3+ game division lead after only 5 weeks of football, essentially saying we have the division and it's over. Chargers could be in that spot, but instead they drop very important, very winnable games, and now they sit there fighting with the Broncos and the Chiefs to take the AFC West. And that, to me, Dave, is the most frustrating part.
Yeah, me too. That's it. It's the division. We talk about it. I talk about it all the time, how important it is for the Chargers to win this division and host a home playoff game. I mean, when I say playoffs, I see people write playoffs, doing the old Mora quote. Man, it's here's the deal. You think on the schedule in your mind, we can get the bad taste out of our mouth next week when they take on the Miami Dolphins. Look, I don't want to say it's a must-win game. It feels like it's a must-win game. Right, Miami's struggling. Miami's one of the worst teams in the league. At the same time, again, you're going cross country. You can have the early game, all the excuses that come when you play the Dolphins. Look, the Dolphins have gotten the better of the Chargers every time we faced them recently. I don't know how it happens, but it happens all the time. So you aren't exactly sure, what's going to happen. Is Tua going to pick these guys apart like somebody wrote? Waddle had a great game tape, but man, Miami stinks. I don't even know how well they're even trying as far as effort. With us, I don't even know if it's effort. I just think it's talent. I think it's talent more than effort. Maybe it's a combination of talent and coaching. But as far as guys trying their best, I believe Trey Pipkins, believe it or not, is trying his best. He's just not very good. His best isn't very good enough, and that's just where it's at. Look, the Commanders had so many injuries coming into this game. They had no business being in this game. Again, 2 of their 3 receivers are missing. Jaden Daniels couldn't even move laterally. You look, he's extremely dangerous. I love the comment at the end, by the way, the broadcasters. San Bernardino's biggest star. Congratulations, Mara. You don't live in Southern California. San Bernardino is the biggest asshole of all time. Like the rest of California is embarrassed that San Bernardino is part of it. It is a disaster. It's hard to breathe there. It's disgusting. And if anyone in this chat's from San Bernardino, I'm not even going to apologize to you. Your parents stuck you in a horrible place. San Bernardino is one of the worst places in the United States. We should be embarrassed.
All right, we got the comments are stacking up here, Mara. Do you mind if we go to these?
Yeah, let's run through.
All right, Victor Correa 499 says, to think after 3 weeks, it looked like they would run away with the division. I honestly, I never thought the Chargers are going to run away with this division because I thought the Chiefs would bounce back. I didn't think the Broncos would beat the Eagles today. But yeah, I mean, Chargers did look great after 2 weeks. I didn't think they looked great against the Broncos, but they got the win, and that's what matters. Now we're fighting for the AFC West crown, and we look like the 3rd best team in the division.
It'd be a great if the Chargers had a bye week in week 6, I think. It'd be fantastic.
I don't even know what to say. I feel like I need a bye week.
But
I'm sorry. What Josh just said a second ago, by the way, is probably the comment of the show right there. We're the 3rd best team in this division. We are.
Yeah, we're lucky the Raiders are like the worst team in football. But yeah
we're lucky we have the Raiders in our division. Because seriously, you can go back if you're a Bronco fan and point to a couple different things of why your team should have a better record. You should have beat the Colts. You pulled off the biggest win in the NFL of an entire year so far by knocking off the Eagles in Philadelphia.
Yep.
Must suck to be a Philadelphia sports fan this weekend.
That's true. AK 499 says, I'm not giving up on this team, but it is time for John Spanos to pull the trigger and fire Ortiz. He has to go. I do not care if my coach likes it or not. That's it. What do you think, Dave? Get rid of Joe Ortiz?
They aren't following. I mean, they aren't going to fire Joe Ortiz. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He's according to Harbaugh, he's building a foundation. He's part of. Look, AK, man, here's the deal. I don't know what your hatred towards the city of Baltimore is, but man, this guy hates everything Baltimore. Like, he doesn't like the Ravens. He doesn't like anyone that came from Baltimore. There's nothing
doesn't like
about
the Wire.
Baltimore.
Yeah, he beat me to it. I was going to say that.
Doesn't like Brooks Robinson. He don't like anybody.
Nope.
He don't like anybody. Anything that has to do with Baltimore, that guy can't stand it. So, no, Ortiz isn't going anywhere. I just want Ortiz not to run it the way the Ravens did it. I want to see them actually spend a little bit of money and make trades when you need to.
Yeah, I would love to know like his rationale of like why he didn't bring in offensive linemen besides Becton, who we haven't even talked about yet. The fact that Mekhi Becton's hurt again with another injury, his hand. For people that don't remember, he was completely injury prone with the Jets.
Yep.
Had 2 horrible seasons with injuries. Then he stayed healthy for one of them, and then he was healthy with the Eagles, and now he's injured again. So, we don't have Mekhi Becton and our 2 tackles. It's just awful. Justin Herbert had 9 more hits today.
Dude, Becton is so goddamn embarrassing. He's like the biggest guy in the whole freaking league, and he has the worst pain tolerance of anybody of all time. Right? He's the softest guy going. He's the guy literally should stand in front of a bar as a bouncer. You don't have to do anything. No one's going to even test you. Just stand there like you're going to do something. You and Bud Dupree can do it together.
The one thing that was also pissing me off with this Chargers O-line, it's more coaching, but Austin, Deculus. I'm sorry, Austin. You suck. So I'm not going to pronounce your name right. I'm trying my best, though. He is so bad replacing Joe Alt. I don't understand why we don't have someone just chipping the whole time. And we have Matlock. Let's just chip, just line up in the backfield. Everyone else spread out. Everyone knows we're passing. It's 3rd and 15. We're in the spot 1,000 times. Just sit there and just chip every single time because he can't go one-on-one with anyone. I would not even trust him with a guy from, Hamilton Heights, Indiana. Like I would trust a corn-fed kid that has no teeth getting around him over his ass. Like he's beyond awful. That was sending me up a hill today. Not enough chipping.
I think one of the most times he had throwing the ball Justin Herbert was when we had a fullback and we had Matlock in there also blocking, and Herbert had enough time to throw the ball. I was like, why don't we just do that more often? Just have Matlock in there and a fullback. Why not? I mean, he's not going to have enough time to throw the ball if you don't. So what's the point of not doing that?
Like, it's obvious we're passing it. Welcome back to no shit. It's 3rd and long.
Yeah, they still got to stop us.
You still have to stop Herbert. So like,
yeah, you got to stop Herbert. You got to stay with Ladd. You got to stay with Keenan. That's fine.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm looking for some guys with fighting them. Dude, I'd sign that 69-year-old truck driver from goddamn Indianapolis at this point. He had a lot of fighting him.
That story is insane,
crazy,
by the way.
Dude, it's bizarre. Look, I'm all for, if you're going to tweet something out, you better stick with it and don't take it down. But, dude, a lot of people should have taken their tweets down when they're sitting supporting Mark Sanchez. Dude, when you didn't realize the story went the other way, you probably should have taken it down.
Jose M, $2 says, fire Roman, fire the offensive line coach, and bench the O-line. Well, we can't bench the O-line because we have nobody else out there. But Roman's not going to get fired during the season, right? Just like Joe Ortiz isn't going to go anywhere.
No, you can't learn a whole new offense. What are you going to do? You bring in somebody else, you can't teach a whole new offense right now. It's like learning a foreign language.
Yeah. And what do you want the offensive line coach to do? These guys just aren't good. Like maybe he's not good at his job either, but the offensive line players that we have are terrible. Like when Mekhi Becton's not out there with our 2 tackles, who the hell are you going to rely on? There's nobody there.
The one thing I will give them, can they please communicate better on stunts? It's just not that, Hey, if a guy's coming around my side, I'm going to take him. And then you take the guy that's going to come under.
No team gets confused more on stunts than the Chargers.
It's insane. Yeah.
Dude, I would like to play pickup basketball with the Chargers offensive line. Dude, every screen, dude, you got a layup. No one's switching.
Dude.
Nobody's switching.
Pick and roll, they're rattled.
Damn.
And his canter's like, let me tell you how to do this, guys.
God dang. No kidding. I can't even take the Becton talk, by the way. I see everyone has a comment about Becton. Look, we're all as disappointed as you. You know who Becton is? Becton's the guy in the longest yard that got his nose broke. Remember that? He broke my nose. That's who Becton is. Big guy doing nothing.
Kelvin Gaddis, $10 says, at this point, if we're not willing to use draft picks to make trades, just give up on the season, get a top 10 draft pick, and spare me the effing nausea of watching these games. They're not going to give up on the season, right? Jim Harbaugh is never going to be a guy that you're going to have as the head coach that gives up on the season. You're not going to give up on a season when Justin Herbert's the quarterback of your team. But if you're not going to make trades for players to fill the gaps that you have on the offensive line or around the roster, then I think you're an unserious team, Mario. Like, you're not actually serious about winning. And I don't think the Chargers are serious about winning.
I think they're playing too much into we're building something. They're doing too much long game right now. And I think that's really going to come back and bite them in the ass. And a lot of organizations, when they do that, it ends up falling apart really quickly, and guys get hurt. And right now, your franchise quarterback could be hurt. Also, Dave, maybe this is a hot take. Was this the most mad you thought you saw Harbaugh today? Because I thought every time they showed him and everything like that, I've never seen him with so much fire and anger behind his eyes.
Yes, and I'm glad. I was glad to see it, to be honest with you.
Same.
I mean, because I think we all feel that way. I wasn't even to the point where I was angry, as I was almost exhausted from being disappointed at what I was watching today. Here's the deal again, Mar. This is before you even were born. I hate to say back into my day, but it's not. It doesn't seem that long ago for football fans. Josh had to be about a year old, but there was a situation where Jimmy Johnson's coaching the Cowboys and they're making a run for the Super Bowl. And in a situation where the game was already in hand, a guy fumbles the ball. Jimmy Johnson cuts him the next day. Boom, out the door. And it was one of those, we're just running the clock out, and he still cut the guy. And he did it to make a point that, look, we have a high standards here. And if you aren't going to hold up to those standards, and it was a guy he could afford to cut. Jimmy Johnson talking about it on that Netflix thing. Can't even remember the guy's name. But you know what? It's a huge wake-up call. I'd have no problems tomorrow if they cut somebody tomorrow. You know, honestly, you just go, dude, you're gone. That's the way it works. And this is the standard of this organization. And I hate to say it, you got a bunch of guys who want to hurt.
The guy you cut, to me, if you're going to make that move, is Tyler Conklin, right? He's an absolute zero for this team. You don't need him. Disley's probably going to be coming back. Gadsden's obviously better than he is. Just cut his ass. Like, send a message. I agree with Dave. Cut Tyler Conklin. Horrible. Kamari Cummings, $4.99, says, we're almost a year and a half into Harbaugh's stint. Tell me what has changed. I'm over him. He's not changing anything. What do you think, Mario?
This is where I kind of disagree. I think any other coach last year does not have a successful season as Harbaugh has. I don't know if all these coaches too. I don't know how many in this league can handle the injury luck that we've had so far with that's happened to our O-line, not happened to our running back. It's very hard to figure that out. Maybe a handful of teams. I know, Josh, we were talking before the show. Dave, maybe Buffalo is the only team that can handle this amount of injuries and still go. But the other teams, you see them fall apart. The Ravens right now are bottom 5 team because they have a third-string defense out there.
Yeah. I mean, the Ravens right now are the most disappointing team in the league. I mean, many people, including myself, thought the Ravens were going to make a run for the Super Bowl. But, I mean, here's the deal. If I'm Jim, and look, you guys go whatever you want as Charger fans. I'm not just talking to you two guys. I'm talking to the people in the chat who are very active. Appreciate the people that are here right now. It's Jim Harbaugh. I mean, he has the resume to show I'm Jim Harbaugh. I've done this now 20 years as a coach. I've always had success. You know, I don't know what's happening. Someone wrote on the side, said that Jim is he too nice right now? If things change, does Jim need to get on TRT? What's going on? You know, is Jim the same guy he was before, or is Jim all of a sudden becoming super nice guy? I don't know. It's the game has changed where you can't sit there and you beat guys down, but there's a standard. I should say there's expectations from the successful coaches. Andy Reid has expectations. People in the locker room understand the expectations. Guys, I honestly believe there's just not a lot of talent on this roster, and you can just go all the way through that offensive line. Losing Slater and Alt killed this team.
No, I don't think any team is prepared to lose 2 all-pro tackles.
Yep.
But
Especially
teams
that
are
was your plan, right?
when that's your plan. But teams are prepared with backups that are sustainable. Chargers don't even have sustainable backups. That's the most frustrating thing for us fans. Next comment. Xenophobic.
Wow.
Xenophobic. I don't know. $100. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Says,
you,
get
Zen.
another pizza and beers on me. Chargers saved me money. I was going to go to the Colts game. F it. I'm not spending my money on this god-awful team to watch them play and get waxed by the Colts.
Dude, I had a kid come up to me a couple days ago, said, no joke, hey, my dad listens to your show 3 times a week. He goes, my dad and I listen together. We watch your show. I go, that's very nice. He goes, I'm going to my very first Charger game in a few weeks. I've never been a lifelong Charger fan. I go, what game are you going to go see? I'm going to go see the Colts and the Chargers. Can't wait to see those powder blues. I go, where they're wearing all gold. Going to be wearing all gold. And now that's the game he's going to. And unfortunately for that kid, it's probably going to be he's walking in that parking lot and he's going to go, what happened to my team? The Colts look really good compared to what the Chargers look like right now.
The Colts are a top 5 team in the NFL, right? We all agree on that?
Yes.
Probably.
Jonathan
Taylor
Taylor's playing out of his mind.
Jonathan Taylor would be the
mind.
offensive player of the year, right? At this point, Daniel Jones looks great. The whole defense looks really good with the Colts. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Nobody did.
Yeah. Sons of Cleat Woodworking, $5 says no pass rush plus no pass protection plus pre-snap penalties plus turnovers plus numerous star players not showing up equals no hope for 2025. At least I have good whiskey. Sounds like something Dave would say.
Dude, 100% I was going to start drinking during this game, but I was like, you guys would call me out. Like everybody would know I was drinking. I'm not a good drinker. You guys all would have gone, did you drink? Dude, I was thinking 100% what this guy just said. I was about to pull out the bottle of whiskey.
I was with a group of people watching the game, and one of the girls said, if the other team scores, we should take a shot. I was like, no, like that's a horrible idea.
Horrible.
I gotta get home.
Yeah. This defense looks like ass. I'm not gonna make it.
And as soon as you open that bottle too, that cap's gone.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a see you later, buddy.
Also the penalties on Trey Pipkins, like I said a second ago, it's not his fault because he sucks. It's really on Joe Ortiz. Like, how do you have back-to-back penalties? And the one of not lining up on the line is crazy. You know why he wasn't lined up on the line? Because he can't protect. He's trying to get a big advantage by stepping back so he can get more time to block. Awful. Like Trey Pipkins has no lateral movement whatsoever. It's actually insane.
One person I want to shout out though from today, Thule played great. 5 pressures and a sack.
Thule plays great when we lose, which sucks. I mean, it's like,
yeah,
play like that all the time. But I mean, Thule, you're right. He had a decent game, a good game. Sergio Lopez, 99 cents. Thank you, Sergio. CJT, $5 says, Herbert has to act like Brady, get mad at his teammates. This wouldn't fly with Manning or Brady. Hate his post-game interviews. Need more fire in him. What do you guys think about that? Look, it's not going to happen, right? I mean, I think we can all accept at this point that Justin Herbert's probably not going to do that. He just doesn't seem like that guy. I don't know how you don't do it. Like, it's actually impressive how he doesn't lose his mind on the field or on the sidelines for everybody to see, because I would. Like, I'm sitting on a couch and I'm losing my mind. I'm not the one that's taking these hits. You think somebody would lose their cool eventually, right?
He does on the field though. Like, I feel like there's multiple times in the game where I watch him and he's.
Dude, I'm talking about A.J. McCarron, Alabama versus Notre Dame in the championship, where he gets into the lineman's face and bumps, the face mask against each other. Like, I would love one of those, just one of those.
You know what? I mean, I've said this for a long time. Like, I just want to see some emotion somewhere. I believe he 100% wants to win as much as anybody, more than anybody else. But yeah, you want to see it. He's just not in the business of showing anybody up. He's not going to do it. And I saw the pictures on Twitter during the game that went through. And look, when you lose, and look, I understand it's not 100% his fault. They gave up 27 unanswered points. But when I see the pictures on Twitter of him kissing Madison Beer before the game, like, dude, that drives me crazy. I don't know. I just, when you lose, and I'm like, wait, you took your mind off the game, what you're doing? Like, once you step on the field, you're on the field. Don't go walking over to the side and kiss your girlfriend. Do that after.
That bothered you?
Yeah, that's such a weird.
That's crazy, right?
It bothered me.
That bothered you. That's a more Dave problem, right?
It is. I'm one of these guys, Mario, that I don't like guys talking to the other team before game. I don't care if it's when there are 3 people in the stadium and basically guys are still in shorts and they do their run throughs and they have the headphones on and they see somebody on the other team and they hang out with each other. I don't like any of that stuff. When it's game day, you can talk to all those guys when the game's over. You can make out with your girl when the game is over. That's it.
Sons of Cleat Woodworking, $10 says Herbert should start kicking linemen off the field after they get a penalty, Peyton style. Anybody coming off the bench couldn't be worse. So at least I'd be entertained. Dude, how bad is Andre James that he can't get in the game? I think Dave said that on the last show.
Yeah.
The fact that he's not getting in when this offensive line is as bad as it is, that terrible signing, right? You brought him in for these types of situations.
Dude, that's it. I mean, I see all the time people dropping names going, why isn't this guy playing or this guy playing? Dude, they aren't showing it in practice. They aren't holding back. They aren't going, we got a real talented guy over here. We just aren't going to play him. Spanos is too cheap to hand out game balls, so if we lose this game, he gets to save a little bit of money. It's not what's going on.
Gabriel 5718 499 says, when did this team go from one of the best coached teams to one of the worst? Also, why didn't Harbaugh call a timeout on that big 4th down play? I think Dave asked that question earlier. Like, why are you burning your timeouts in the first half when you don't need to? And then at times when you do need a timeout, like in that situation, you're not. I've never seen Jim Harbaugh's team look this bad in terms of like the penalties and just not looking prepared.
I feel like they thought last game, it felt like they just were going to show up and win. And then this game, it just felt like mentally they just weren't prepared. Like they just weren't prepared for it. And they just were like, all right, we messed up. It's over. That's what it felt like.
No fight, right? In this
no fight. No fight.
And then you have the Saints beat the Giants, and you're like, oh my God, we might be the worst team ever.
Yeah. That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah,
Ugly,
Miguel
by the way.
Alfred.
Can you talk about really
What?
quickly that first slate today? Horrifying.
Dolphins, Panthers, Giants, Saints.
Dude, usually when I go to the bathroom, I pull it up on my phone. So like I don't miss anything. This was the first time in a while. Like I legitimately didn't even think about it. Like I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy some time on the can.
Miguel Alvarez 499 says this is effing BS. Over this S. We looked handicapped out there. I don't like wasting my Sundays for this team. The GM needs to get his head out of his ass.
All right, seriously, if you point the finger at somebody, it's either the head coach or the GM. I mean, look, I know they're one and the same, but they really aren't, right?
It's the
Hopefully,
GM. It's a GM.
yeah.
GM.
You have to blame the GM. I mean, we're looking talent for talent. We're all football fans. We know what it looks like. We know which guys can get to the quarterback. We know which guys can keep guys from getting to the quarterback. When they sit and tell you how great our offensive line is, it's because they're going against the scrubs that we have on the other side. That's why it looks that way. If that's your evaluation, you're doing it wrong. Your evaluation should be what you see on game film. What we see, it's right there on television. You can't hide it from us. We know. We knew what was going to happen before the season started with these guys. None of these guys are surprising us. It's not like what happened to that guy. He used to be great. It hasn't happened one time. Everything that's happened was expected. So yeah, I put this on Ortiz.
Do you remember when we went into last season and Jim Harbaugh had that press conference where he said that Trey Pipkins looks amazing at guard, and then Trey Pipkins played guard, and you said, "Oh my God, he might even be worse at guard than he is at tackle." I don't understand that. Like, why is Jim Harbaugh lying to his fans? We're not idiots. We're watching the same game he is. It's insane. And Tom Brady in his prime could be playing quarterback for the Chargers right now. They're not going to win. Like, there's no blocking whatsoever. Tom Brady's not going to be getting hit 10 times a game. It's not going to happen for any quarterback. I think this is mostly on Ortiz. I would love to see them talking to each other this week, by the way. What's that conversation like?
No QB that makes 2 back-to-back tremendous plays on 2nd and 15 plus gets it called back. And what are they going to do? Like, hey, do you want to do Superman 3 times in a row? At some point, I can't do it anymore. And that's what happened with Herbert.
Exactly.
I'm curious to see in these press conferences how the Los Angeles media covers this thing. I'll be honest with you. I mean, we've made it clear this isn't me begging for a press credential, but 100% that'd be a question asked right now. What's happening? You know, I mean, it can't just be, BJ questions here. You got to sit there and you got to ask questions that people want answers to. Why this team is struggling against? Well, the Giants are one of the worst teams in the league. The Commanders are a shadow of what they're capable of doing. And yet again, 27 unanswered points. We talk all the time as sports fans. Nothing's worse than losing a game right at the end. I'd feel a little bit better to see they were competitive. Going all the way back to the QJ fumble, we kind of took our ball and went home and go, well, it's not our week. Try it again next week against the Dolphins. It was bizarre. We lost all kind of competition. We lost it in ourselves. What happened to these guys? I mean, did the Commanders just all of a sudden figure out what the Chargers were doing? Because 27 unanswered points. Look, if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, if you saw the way that game ended, where they were just about to put a drive together and kick a game-winning field goal, and then that idiot Sam Darnold bounces the ball right off the guy's helmet, and it becomes interception, and then Buccaneers kick the game-winning kick. That's a tough loss, right? But there's a competition of a game that actually happened. There's zero competition of a game after basically 2.5 quarters of nothing that went well for the Chargers. Even the nail in the coffin at the end. The touchdown to Deebo Samuel, that's embarrassing as hell. 4th and 7, we're just going to fire a touchdown in the end zone. How does that happen?
Bad team. I'll put you on the spot right now. If they open the floor for the press conference after the game, Jim Harbaugh's on the podium, you get the first question. What are you going to ask him? What would you say?
Jim, is it coaching or is it talent? And if he says he's going to, I know Jim, he's going to go, it's coaching. Jim, the coaches don't play. So can you talk about how you guys have been outmanned by both the Giants and the Commanders in back-to-back weeks? And how is this going to change to next week? Do you see a possible trade coming? And then that would be leaning towards Joe Ortiz doing his job.
I would love that. And by the way, for anybody that's listening, does everybody here get annoyed that they don't put a mic to the reporters' faces? You can't hear the questions. It's insane. It's crazy.
You can never hear them.
Yeah, it's awful. Eddie Ramirez, 199
questions.
Yeah. He says it's time to get on Bradley Bozeman, boys. We did last week. We were all over. We're saying that he is ranked 46 out of 46 out of all the centers in the NFL. It's time to get Andre James a chance. There's nothing more to say about Bradley Bozeman. And I know him. We're on the same college football team. He's a great guy, but there's great guys that pump gas at the Shell station, as Dave likes to say. If you're not protecting Justin Herbert, you're not doing your job and you're not helping the team win. EJ Eduarte, $2 says we have a bunch of Storm Nordens at this point. Dude, I couldn't agree more. Storm Norden was this. We just have 5 of them.
Yeah.
Angie Barr 999 says this is the best therapy session. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Angie. Unfortunately, we have to do this too often.
Yeah, appreciate that as well.
Yeah,
that's very nice. Josh and I are going to the Texans Chargers game at the end of December. Thought it'd be a game that might be really important, something to play for. I hope that's still the case come December.
Drew B. Do Drums 199 says Hampton leaving in a walking boot. Yeah, not good. Not good at all because you have Hassan Haskins and Vidal out there, 2 guys that you cannot rely on. So if Marion Hampton's not on the field, Mario, major problems, even bigger problems than we have now.
I mean, at one point in the second quarter, on the 26 plays, he had 12 touches. Almost 50% of our plays, he had the ball. So him not being out there, and he's playing. I mean, he was on pace to be offensive rookie of the year.
Blaze Gaspari 1999 says F my life.
Ain't that the truth, brother?
Blaze, I said to Josh right before we went on, I said, man, we're changing the name of this podcast to the For F's Sake podcast. I was so pissed off before we went on there. I'm with you on that, Blaze.
Plus one, $5 says best Chargers podcast, gentlemen, by far. That is all. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, we're not going to lie to you guys. If we're upset, we'll be upset. If we're happy, we're going to be happy. You know,
they're playing well. We'll tell you what they're playing well.
Yeah, I'm not going to get on.
Guys.
I'm not going to act like some other podcast where they tell you that Tyler Conklin is the next Tony Gonzalez, like I've seen before. Just crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Reach.
El Guapo 499 says Brady said too many defenders are going untouched and hitting Herbert. Doesn't Bozeman make sure the line is on the same page? Herbert should leave. What do you got, Mario?
I don't think he does make sure on the same page because so many times I've seen 2 guys collapse on one tackle and then one guy just goes completely uncrossed, which is insane to me because it's like 5th grade football of offensive linemen. When you go to the line of scrimmage, you're constantly talking. I got him. I got him. I got him. Like it doesn't matter if they know. Oh, this is a run play now. This is pass play now. It just doesn't matter. You got to talk it out. And Dave, it feels like they just don't do that enough. So
Payne and Bozeman were teammates at Alabama. So they practice against each other every day. You know, Josh was a teammate. You graduated with Payne, right, Josh?
He's the year after me, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, these guys know each other like you wouldn't believe, but it's night and day on talent. When you look at Payne compared to Bozeman, you're like, he must have said, this guy used to kick my ass every day. Now he's going to kick my ass on national TV today. Perfect name for a defensive player, by the way.
Payne.
Yeah, like Sayao was a great name for a defensive player.
Yeah, Deshaun Hand and Bradley Bozeman both went against each other at practice every day too, by the way. Roll Tide. Vincent Jenner 499 says all that cap sitting there, Chargers find a way to rage their fan base. It's an elite talent. Yeah, I mean today definitely felt like the Chargers of the past, right? The last 2 weeks it felt like the old Chargers that we've known and hated.
Yeah, you know, one of the reasons, by the way, Vincent, we bring that up all the time about the Charger cap space is most teams are dying for cap space. You see them cutting players that they love to keep because they need to create cap space. The Chargers were in a unique situation during this offseason where they had money to burn and they just didn't spend it. I've just never seen it before. I mean, the other teams like the Patriots, who in the same situation the Chargers were in, they went out and spent. The goal was to get better. The Chargers had money to spend. And you're seeing guys starting to leave, and you're like, well, man, it seemed like that guy would have been a good Charger. That guy would have been a good Charger. Well, who do they have their eye on? Nobody. They just put their hands in their pockets like they have the wrong calendar. Like, was that today? Wait. I mean, we're allowed to start signing guys now? I thought that was next month. Everybody's gone. I mean, dude, I'd love to play musical chairs with the Chargers. Those guys are idiots.
All right. Charles Oglesby, 499, says it's not coaching and it's not the offensive line. These last 2 games came down to penalties and turnovers. It's really hard, Charles, to watch a game and say it's not because of the offensive line. I mean, Justin Herbert has been hit over 20 times, I believe, in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, the offensive line is a huge part of it. Penalties are not helping. It's a big problem as well. But the offensive line right now is the biggest problem with this team.
Also, Charles, the sign of penalties is a sign of bad coaching, and so is turnovers. It's sloppy play, and that means your coaching's not up to par. Anyone can tell you that.
What we got next? Alana Moore, $10 says, even when our team is the worst, y'all are the best. Thanks for giving this therapist football therapy. Thank you. Or laugh out loud, excuse me. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, we have the most listeners, I notice, when we lose games because you guys are psychopaths like we are.
You want to fix the problem, I hope.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like that people are honest with this team right now. Like, nobody's saying, like, oh, we'll be fine. Like, we're not going to be fine right now. We need to make major changes, a bunch of changes. The offensive line, the penalties are a problem. Everybody's on the same page, I feel like, right now, Mario. Everybody's kind of has the same frustrations.
We should get like a therapist, like every time they lose, we're doing like a therapy session, just have them sit in the corner. And then like after the end of we bitch about something, you're like, hey, doctor, you get 30 seconds to fix that. If they can't do it in 30 seconds, we're like, God, this guy sucks.
To fix us? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. They would say number one is, dude, Dave, you can't take that much Prozac. It's not going to help. That's what they would say.
What is Prozac?
Prozac's supposed to put you in a good mood. It says take you from being depressed to put you in a good mood.
Isn't that what Tony Soprano took?
I think he was taking Prozac.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a T booster.
No, just the opposite, dude. No,
yeah. Good luck getting the little guy up there,
Dude, here's a funny thing. When, believe it or not, I used to have a pretty good temper. I think I've come a long way. But I used to have pretty good temper, and so the doctor gave me, I must have been mid-20s. They gave me Prozac to take. Dude, it was like Pam Anderson could have walked across my living room with no clothes on, and I wouldn't even have looked at her. I was like, I'm off for this, dude. It was crazy. It was. I was like, dude, I did it for about a month. I'm like, dude, I became the nicest guy in the world. Like telling women I don't even know how well their purse matches their dress. I was like, I'm out. I'm like, dude, what happened to me? I don't need this. And then that was it. I said, if I get into fights, I get into fights. Damn it. That was it. Yeah. Prozac never again.
Have you guys ever taken Accutane before? Either of you?
No. I didn't. My buddy used to. His nose used to bleed all the time.
Oh, yeah. The side effects are insane. But before they like tell you, they like list off all the side effects. But it's like the scariest 5 minutes ever because they're like, they just keep going and going and going. And I was just sitting there. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. And then the last one was like, yeah, sometimes you might struggle to, get the boys up and going. And I was just like sitting there. I was like, that's, it's a big problem for me. I don't want to go through that. I was like, I'm in my 20s. I want to be rocking and rolling, my guy.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, it happens in 2% of chances. I go, okay. My luck's not going good, brother. I just lost 200 on freaking football this weekend. So let me tell you something. Luck's not on my side.
Yeah. Even Steph Curry misses a free throw once in a while.
Yeah. Come on. Jesus Christ. Even Tiger Woods lost some tours. They ended up being fine. So take Accutane. It's good stuff.
JG DeBoss 499 says, I don't know how anyone blames this on Herbert. No quarterback in history could have made up for the mistakes this team made. I agree. I mean, Justin Herbert hasn't looked the best ever, but I don't think he was going to win this game, even if he was at his best.
Again, you said it earlier. Tom Brady could be at his best, and he wasn't going to have success. It's just not. There's no time, man. There's no time. And you mentioned the 20 hits and the 4 sacks today, and it's a really dangerous game when you're letting your star player get hit that much.
Mm-hmm. Jeff Ayers, $5 says, can we talk about the complete lack of pass rush minus Tooley? Like, what the hell is Bud Dupree doing? He's doing nothing. So to me, Bud Dupree is the Tyler Conklin of the defense, right? Older veteran guy taking up a roster spot, really brings nothing to the team.
Dude, he brings nothing. I told you guys this before. Bud Dupree should basically retire. No one's going to walk away from the check. I got it. But they shouldn't have brought him back this year. Bud Dupree right now should be the guy who's sitting in the grocery store parking lot on a Friday night eating Doritos and drinking beer illegally and telling everybody how good he used to be. That's what he should be doing.
Mario, do you want to take a guess at what Bud Dupree's stats are today?
0 tackles, 0 sacks. I don't know how many pressures. I didn't count as pressures. I'm gonna guess like
Take a
maybe
guess.
1 pressure.
One
Maybe 1
pressure?
pressure.
Yeah, try 0 everything. No stats. Like he
Good
didn't even
stuff.
play.
Tony Snell.
Yeah, lots of good cardio for Bud Dupree today. Sergio, this is insane that you can't record 1 stat. You're playing that much. Sergio Chavez,
That is
499.
crazy.
Just jump on a
If-
pile. Get a half tackle.
Just stand there. Somebody's going to run into you
Yeah,
eventually.
someone's gonna run into
Yeah.
you by accident.
It's like being 7 foot and you don't get a rebound. It's like, dude, just stand on the basket.
Dude, it drives me crazy.
To bounce your way at one point.
Sergio Chavez, 499 says, if you're Herbert, where do you take this offensive line to dinner? Golden Corral? I'm not taking them anywhere, dude. I'm taking them right to the film room, right to the training table. I don't know where to take these guys. I don't know what the hell goes on between Herbert and his offense line. How can you even look Justin Herbert in the face if you're one of those guys?
Also, Golden Corrals. It's good stuff. All you can pay.
I've never been, dude.
Oh, dude.
Never been.
Let me tell you something. Get ready for war in that boy.
Xenophobic, $5 says, just curious, how did Mario become a Charger fan? I know the rest of y'all are from SD like me.
LaDainian Tomlinson, sickest face mask visor combo. He ran the same hill that Walter Payton ran. I sit next to my dad. My dad goes, that guy's the best running back I've ever seen. Started paying attention to him. Little AFC team. Sometimes in life, guys, you have the wife, and then you're Tony Soprano. So you have a little something called gomage. I think that's how you say it. I think I butchered it. But it's like kind of like the side piece. It's the Chargers with the side piece.
The Gumad.
Gumad. Right?
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the history lesson.
That's a good question. We should have done this during the offseason. Do you remember the day you became a Charger fan? I can tell you the day I became a Charger fan. Easy. That's funny. Like to the date, I told you guys. January 2nd, was I said 1982. I was living, by the way, Mario isn't from Southern California, but I was living in Nashville, Tennessee at the time, just happened to be back in Southern California for my grandparents' 45th wedding anniversary. And guess what? The game came on, Chargers against the Dolphins, and I'm watching Kellen Winslow. And boom, dude, I was a Charger fan. That was it. Josh, do you remember the day you became a Charger fan? What game? What made you say I'm a Charger fan?
I don't remember the day. I like football from San Diego. I think I just naturally just started watching the games. I can't remember the specific day though. I do remember all the bad times. So
yeah, a lot of people do.
Sons of Cleat Woodworking, $5 says, trying to explain to my wife how every year it's always something. I need another drink. Go get one on me, Dave.
Oh,
there you go.
Thanks. Can I buy a drink for $5?
I don't know. That's a good question.
in Indiana, maybe.
Mark Sanchez used, he bought enough drinks. Yeah. Stephanie Chamberlain, $4.99 says, you guys are the best, even when the Bolts are the worst. Thank you, guys. On to the next.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thanks,
Stephanie's been with us for a long time. Thank you.
Yeah, she has.
Thanks, Queen.
Alan Galladay, $4.99 says, letting Dobbins walk was a huge mistake after the season he gave us last year. Yeah, he looks great, right, on that Broncos team. I don't think anybody predicted Najee to get hurt, right? Najee never missed a game up until now, but because he's a Charger, of course, he has injury problems. J.K. Dobbins right now, top 10 running back in the NFL, maybe.
So this is where I actually disagree.
On with who? Josh or with the person that brings it up? With Alan.
Like I don't think J.K. Dobbins I don't think that was a mistake. Letting him walk.
I don't think it was a mistake either.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Why do you say it? And I'll tell you why I say it.
Because you got Hampton and you had Najee Harris, who is like you say, Josh. That was just a freak thing. He gets hurt. Bad luck. Hampton, who's the best offensive player that's a rookie right now.
Yeah, well, and the thing is with Dobbins, if he was a guy had a history of not being hurt, then you say, oh man, what are you doing? You should have kept him. It wasn't a situation at all. The most healthy he's ever been was last year. Ask the Ravens what it was like having J.K. Dobbins on their team for years. We were like, one more chance. We all knew he had a ton of talent, but man, nobody got hurt like him. It was just a matter of time before it was over. I hope I'm not wishing anything bad on J.K. Dobbins, but it's just his history is, dude, not only does he get hurt, he gets hurt for like the whole year hurt.
I think the point of signing Najee was because you wanted a backup that was going to be sustainable, right? Not going to get hurt. And Najee's that type of guy going up into the season, not to get hurt. JK is the opposite. But then you know, hindsight 2020, J.K. Dobbins has scored a touchdown in every single game.
Oh,
The one
I've
game
been
he
watching.
didn't have a touchdown, he had 101 rushing yards.
Yeah, he's been great.
Yeah. Mike G, $2 says AFC is weak, missed opportunity. Ortiz sucks.
Mike, agree, man. If you guys do your top 5 rankings of best teams in the AFC and top 5 in the NFC, dude, the AFC isn't very good, man. Outside of the Bills, it's not like, dude, I'd put my house on this team's going to the Super Bowl. It's tough, man, to figure out what the AFC is. This is one, Mike, I agree with you. The Chargers have to take advantage of this. These last 2 games, they should have won these games. If the Commanders were completely healthy, it'd be maybe a different argument. But again, there were so many banged up guys, including the quarterback who's just coming off an injury with a giant knee brace that couldn't move laterally, and yet beat your ass, scored 27 unanswered points.
Yeah, I mean, if Josh Allen stays healthy, they're going to walk to the AFC Championship. Me and Mario and I were talking about that before the game. Like, Bills have the easiest path ever right now.
Sneaky team that like could really just luck out. Pittsburgh. They're consistent.
I don't think
Tomlin
Pittsburgh's any
finds
good,
a
though.
way. No, I don't either, but like Tomlin finds a way.
The 2 best teams in the AFC are the Bills and the Colts.
Yes.
Oh.
Kelvin Gaddis, $5, says Gumar. That's the word y'all looking for. Thank you.
Exactly.
I thought it was a good mod. I didn't know. I thought it was a D in there.
I thought it was
I
a
don't
D
have
too.
one. Sorry.
I think
I
it's
don't
like the
have
way
one.
they say it, but I looked it up. Like that is how it is.
It is. It's not Gumad. It's Gumar.
Maybe in
I
The
don't have-
Godfather they said it different.
Yeah, in The Godfather, I'm sure they do. But I've seen Sopranos, like, no joke, like 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have one. I don't know, Kevin.
I'm not married, so.
All right. Well, that was the
Josh?
most comments we've ever had. No, I don't. That's the most comments we've ever had on one show. So that's cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
very nice.
appreciate
Good
you guys
stuff.
being around for the bad times. Thanks.
Love you, crew.
Yeah, that's that's very, very nice. There you go. I think the therapy also for us, like I said to Josh before we started, Mario, I go, man, you and Mario have fun today. I'm not going to say anything. Like I was so heartbroken of what I just saw. Like I just didn't, almost just like felt like I had a loss for words. I just had nothing to say. I was just sad watching this. My anger passed after QJ, and when I realized they weren't going to respond, and the punt that got called back, that Ladd had the touchdown, and I was just like mentally just exhausted from things not going our way. That I just felt like I got nothing. And I think overall, man, it's good that we all talk it out as we watch our team go through the problems that they go through. But man, the audience or the listeners have been great.
Yeah, this makes me feel better, a lot better.
There you go.
Best fans in the world.
There you go. All right, Mario, before we go, what's your background, dude? What pictures you got back there?
Okay, so I got Israel Adesanya, beast. I think that's after he beat Kelvin Gastelman. Also, shout out to anyone that bet Alex Pereira this weekend. Boy, was that electric. Great fight card. We cash another. Then you have Jordan and his first ever, I think, Nike photo shoot that he ever did. And then we have Tiger Woods. I believe that's in 2019 when he won it again.
Okay.
First time in a while. So I was telling Josh before the show. So I have this, obviously, and then I have another one that's like the same size. And it's McGregor when he won his 2 belts. And it's him flipping off the camera. It's a really sick photo. But he's been dishing out some hot takes and, currently in some trouble. So I thought, you know what? We're going to sit that one out because we already got a little UFC action here. Let's go with the golf goat. But then as I was explaining that, I was thinking to myself, well, Tiger doesn't, have the best one either. But sometimes, Dave, you just got to like the artist for the art and not, for the personality.
I got you.
Yeah.
Well, I have some good news for you. In a few weeks, I think my 83-year-old brother-in-law is coming to town, and he could be making an appearance right in the background while we're doing the show again. Do you remember that? Right where Josh is sitting, all of a sudden, there's an old man sitting there just looking over his shoulder, never left.
So good. Yeah.
It was freaking crazy.
Oh,
yeah.
Also, for the next show on Tuesday, I'm going to attempt to eat 12 snack wraps in 45 minutes ish.
Let's go.
Tune in for that.
All right. So Tuesday, 1 o'clock, we're back Pacific time. Go ahead, Mario. You about to say something?
No, I was so pumped when you texted about that because I forgot that happened. And I was like, oh my God, let's go.
Let's go.
Get ready, buddy.
SD Chargers says, Josh, say something about our Padres as a closing statement, please. I don't want to do this,
You
but I
got it.
will.
Come on.
Yeah. When your best players don't play like your best players, stuff like this happens. Like Tatis, his head was in the Dominican Republic. He was already back home, dude. There's stuff with Tatis happening off the field that I can't say because I don't want to ruin relationships, but he has a lot going on in his personal life that's affecting his play on the field, is my belief. Manny Machado, I don't think is a true leader. The way that he acted to Jake Arriani when he asked him the question, how do you assess your season? It was a joke. I don't think any leader of any team should act that way. Also, when you're relying on a 22-year-old kid in Jackson Merrill to be your best hitter and Xander Bogaerts as a guy that's already past his prime to be your best player, you're going to have major problems. And the Padres did have major problems. Inconsistent hitting 2 years in a row in the playoffs. Pitching was pretty damn good. Bullpen was amazing. But when you don't have your team captains and your best players play like your best players, you get this result. So that's how I feel.
Isn't your GM like kind of the best though? Isn't that the frustrating part? Is he's a dog?
I think he's one of the best GMs. I love him.
A lot of rumors he's going to get fired this week, Mario.
Really? Because
not because of no, just they have new ownership and they have a president that there's a lot of talk that could be out the door that they want to change. The people who hired him and gave him his last contract aren't there anymore.
Gotcha.
So
and he's a spender.
Yeah, he's good at his job. Obviously I'm a Dodger fan, but he's really good at his job. And so someone's gonna bring him in if he is let go by the Pods. But man, Josh is right. You score 5 runs in your last 51 playoff innings. It's not a good sign.
Josh, is it Mason Miller?
That's who, yeah. The
best relief pitcher in baseball. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Guys,
unhittable.
Yeah. I was sitting there just going, I can't even see the ball.
That's
you know what he's doing today? You know what he's doing today? He's watching his Pittsburgh Steelers play. Like, he's just watching football. I don't know. The Steelers, what time is Steelers play?
Steelers have a bye.
Okay, the bye have a bye week. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers. Anyway, he's not doing anything is my point. Okay, he's on the couch today. It's ridiculous. He's the best closer and best relief pitcher in all of baseball. F the Padres right now. I want to talk about the Chargers. I'm upset with that too. Out of bad at sports week. Besides Alabama.
Bama won. Yeah, Bama.
That was great. Besides that, it's been a bad week.
They're undefeated too, and they're 8th right now.
They aren't undefeated. They lost first game to Florida State.
Shoot, I didn't even mean to poke. I legitimately forgot about that. I literally forgot. Didn't mean to poke.
Felt that way. There you go. All right, we're back on Tuesday, 1:00 Pacific time. I appreciate everybody joining us, talking this one out. We'll try it again. Get ready for the Dolphins next week. Again, please subscribe to the show. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe. If you don't, that's fine. Even if you don't, go ahead and subscribe. Please, we'll take it. I know you guys on the side, because I see the negative stuff too. You guys on the side that want to say something crappy, that's fine too. But there are plenty of people I listen to and go, man, these guys are terrible. Then I come back the next day. If you think that about us, you can do the same damn thing. We'll take it. YouTube comments. You have something on YouTube, go ahead, ask the questions. Josh and I do respond to those. And then the three of us will be back again Tuesday, 1:00 Pacific time. Appreciate everyone again joining us. Final score today, 27-10 Washington over the Los Angeles Chargers. I told you those goddamn powder blue pants with the powder blue shirts weren't going to work. So you can't win a game in pajamas, mother effers. Told you. All right. For Mario Heron, Josh Pele, I'm Dave. Mario, about to tell me something else?
Just follow us all on social media platforms: Twitter or X, Bulk Crew Pod, Instagram, Bulk Crew Pod, TikTok, Bulk Crew Pod. Follow us, like the content a lot. If you think it sucks, still like it, share it as much as you can. Trying to post as much as possible, get the outreach out there. Even if the Chargers suck, we try not to. So please continue to support us, and we will support you.
All right, sorry, we have one more paid comment, dude. We promised to read all these. One more. Delfino Ochoa 499 says, Uncle Dave, how do we in India this team? I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
How do we India this team? Also, when did we get so mixed? That makes sense. I think Delfino started drinking during the game. What do you guys think?
I think
for
so
you,
too.
Delfino.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I can't answer his question because he paid $4.99.
I know. I feel bad too. You got to clean it up. Grammar.
Yeah, Delfino, sober up, Delfino, and then right on there, you owe me a question, and we'll read it. All right.
Fair enough. I like it.
That's the way.
And
we'll
keep the party going. Sounds like you're having a good night already.
AK, translate that for us. What he's trying to say.
Yeah. Also, AK, if you keep sending me videos, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna watch them. Just being completely transparent, brother.
All right. So Does he have clothes on? What are we talking about?
No, he
All
just
right,
like
so-
sends me. I don't even know. I'm just
All
like, dude,
right.
I'm not gonna watch this.
Let's try and sign off again for the 8th time. For Mario Heron, Josh Pele, I'm Dave Pele. We'll see you Tuesday, 1 o'clock Pacific time.
Hey, yeah, hey, it's the boat crew, and we always winning. Hey, go against us, I don't recommend it. Hey, it's the boat crew, best up in the business. It's the boat crew, repping for the city. Macking on and off the field like Khalil. They hate on us cause we keep it too real. I'm talking smack like Phil Rivers in the field. Oh, you mad again cause we kept it real? Why you mad? Hey, I'm talking smack, I feel like Uncle Dave. Hey, I bring the pain, I feel like Derwin James. I could run and gun, I feel like Harbaugh down the lane. I feel like LT the way I'm stiff arming these lanes. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah. Ay, we just wanna win, we just wanna win, ay. Putting on for the city, putting on for the city. We just wanna win, we just wanna win, yeah.